welcome to another edition of Infield Fly. Talking baseball with you from the past week. We'll recap what happened in the last week and also look ahead to what's coming up this week in Major League Baseball. I'm Rob Fisher. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan who just got back from London. Well, I didn't get back from London. I didn't go to London. But the
Tally-ho.
Yeah. The Cards went to London. They went to London with the Cubs. Keith Murphy is with us. He's a Cubs fan. The Cubs are on fire.
Yep.
Good for the Cubs. Oh, yeah, Lang Whitaker's here, too. He's a Braves fan.
Yeah.
They just keep on keeping on. It's sad, Lang, that Murph and I have this big weekend in London. And,
we had a big weekend, too.
Eh.
The Braves had a big weekend.
Oh, that's right. You had the Reds. You had the Reds this weekend. That was
put
big.
The smackdown on the Reds. Yeah.
Put the smackdown on that top team in the National League Central.
Yeah. They went 12 in a row.
Yeah, no kidding. And
you should have played them 4 times, man. I like the 4 or 5 times just to beat them 4 straight for us.
I would have liked that too.
Yeah, no kidding. We all would have liked that. A couple of big stories this week in Major League Baseball. Maybe the biggest story was we had 2 controversial home plate calls this week that had confusing as hell. Bruce Bochy and Bob Melvin both went berserk, both got thrown out of the games. The problem right now is I don't think the catchers or the managers know what the rule is at home plate.
Thank you. I was screaming at my TV set, like, you gotta let people understand why they're upset.
Because the problem is the announcers don't know,
right.
The managers don't know, the catchers don't know. Nobody knows the rule.
What is the rule?
That's the.
I mean, the rule, apparently, according to the announcers of these games, the rule is you have to give a lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
But both times the catchers gave a lane to home plate, and yet they both got called blocking the plate. And it didn't make sense. I mean, one of them, the guy was standing on the backside of home plate and he swept the tag across and they said he was blocking the. I don't know, Lang. I don't know what the rule is. And that's the problem. I don't think the catchers or the managers know what the rule is either, because it doesn't make sense.
Now they did all this, Fish, because to protect the catcher, correct? Because there was just too many injuries happening with catchers. Really, how many injuries really happen with catchers though? There weren't a lot.
Buster Posey, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'd say bring the old rule back. You know, if you can just if the ball is on the ground when you're crossing home plate or sliding into home plate, you're safe.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing was, O'Neal Cruz of the Pirates, when he got injured, sliding into home plate because he made a late decision.
Right.
Because of where the catcher was on whether or not he should slide or not, and he screwed up his leg because of it. I don't know. I don't get it, and obviously the managers don't get it either.
Travis d'Arnaud got injured earlier this year at the plate and was out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's still not enough for me.
I don't get it. I think that if you have the ball, you should be able to be in front of the plate.
Exactly.
But what if you don't have the ball?
You have to give them a lane.
Yeah.
And both times the catcher had the ball in these situations, which is, and no one, that's what was crazy about it. But on both reviews, everyone thought they were just reviewing safer out.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they came back and said, well, he was blocking the plate, so the runner's safe. And it was what, huh?
Robot umps. We need the robot umps.
Well, I don't know if they would know what they're doing either, so that's great. One of the other top stories, we mentioned it last week, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. He apparently is facing some criticism for his comments that he made at Oakland's expense last week when they had their reverse boycott.
Yeah.
And
a reverse boycott's just a hilarious concept, too, when you think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. But afterwards, he was asked about the 27,000 fans that were at Oakland Coliseum, and he said it was great. It's great to see what is this year almost an average Major League Baseball crowd in the facility for one night. That's a great thing. Now, facing significant backlash, Manfred felt the need to address those remarks, and he did. He said those remarks were taken out of context, which is always the great excuse. But then after he said they were taken out of context, he went on to say, The comment I made about the fans on a particular night was taken out of context to the two larger remarks. Unfortunately, one night doesn't change a decade of inaction.
Ooh,
So he basically
Spicy.
doubled down.
Yeah.
spicy.
I mean,
So-
does he mean a decade of inaction by ownership or by the fans?
I
'Cause
think by
it-
the fans.
Yeah, but the real answer is it's been by the ownership.
Yeah, you can't blame the fans in that, man. If you're putting out crap product, man, fans are not going to pay their money for
Yeah.
to see it. Come on.
No. And they have they've done a very good job putting out a crap product. So
Yeah.
congratulations to the Oakland A's. Some whining this week that I was really upset about.
Oh, were you doing the
from-
Cardinals part of the? Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's coming up in a moment.
All right.
But
all right.
some whining from announcers this week, which kind of just disgusted me a little bit. Reds broadcasters were whining about Ronald Acuna's home run trot,
Ridiculous.
where Acuna rounds third and
Was it
does
the
a
Reds
little-
or the Phillies announcers?
I think it was the Phillies.
was it the Phillies?
Yeah, because we
think it was
played
the
the Phillies
Phillies.
before the Reds.
All right, I guess it was in the Philly series.
I can't
Um,
remember.
Where Washington and Acuna, they do their little handshake thing at third base, and the announcers went off saying, "Oh, that is so unprofessional." That's ridiculous. Ron Washington, not professional at all.
Mhm.
Really? Haven't we gotten to the point now where we're kind of over it and people can celebrate and we let guys actually have a little emotion on the field? And if anybody does it, it's Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only been doing it all season.
Basically.
It wasn't like all of a sudden him and Ron Washington decided to have this big celebration after this one home run. He does it after every home run. Why are the Phillies announcers upset at Ron Washington for being unprofessional?
Actually, all the Braves players do it after every home run. Each player has their own little celebration with Ron. Right, Matt Olson does a celebration with Ron Washington when he comes around third.
Matt,
every-
Mr. Vanilla does it.
Yeah. Travis d'Arnaud has a celebration with Ron Washington when he comes around third. All the Braves players have a celebration with Ron Washington when they come around third.
Yeah. So get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that bothered me this weekend, listening on the radio to the Cubs and the Cardinals series in London and hearing the Cardinals announcers and how it just felt like it was reason to whine and just whine for no reason.
Mm.
7th inning stretch of the Cardinals and Cubs in London, and they sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" like they do at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals announcers started saying, "Well, I thought this was a Cardinals home game." Seriously? You're playing in London.
Yeah.
Basically.
We're celebrating baseball. We're celebrating the Cardinals and the Cubs.
Right.
It's not the Cardinals are in London welcoming the Cubs. It's the Cardinals are batting second. That's basically all it is. So they whined about the 7th inning stretch being sung. And then the worst part, the Cubs win the game. This is on Saturday. The
Mhm.
Cubs end up winning the game. And at the end of the game, after they win, they play the song, "Go Cubs Go." Oh, they're playing that song. I thought this was a Cardinals home game. Seriously? We're celebrating the game in London. You know what the Cardinals should have done? They should have flown the Clydesdales over there and run the Clydesdales around the field and played the little Anheuser-Busch song. And maybe we would have all been happy for the B-Fibs, the best fans in baseball. Maybe they wouldn't be upset about it. But for the Cubs to play "Go Cubs Go" at the end of that game, I have no problem with that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was the thing. That was the only thing I was going to complain about, by the way. I had no beef with Ross today. No Ross. no Ross diatribes. but when I heard that, because I have this thing where you can check out what the announcers are saying.
Yeah.
And it was kind of shocking because "Take Me Out to the Ballpark" is like Americana. It's like something that you export over to another country to say, this is how we celebrate baseball. Yes, they sing it in Wrigley Field. Yes, it's part of the 7th inning stretch, but this is baseball. This is American baseball. And for the announcers not to understand that, I can get the beef for the "Go Cubs Go" because it's like pouring salt in the wound a little bit for the for Cardinals fans and for the announcers. But come on, man, like really, like it's a song that's bigger than whatever petty grievance you have.
How many fans were there of either team? I mean,
It's quite a few Cubs fans there.
yeah.
There's quite a
What
few
about
Cubs
Cardinals
fans.
fans? Were there a lot
I
of
don't know.
Cardinal fans there?
Fish, was there a lot of Cardinals fans that you spot there or what?
I mean, yeah.
I saw a
I mean,
few.
more. I mean, there were 57,000 people there. I would imagine probably 48,000 from London, I would guess.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that many, but I mean, there were a lot of Cardinals hats. There were a lot of Cubs hats. I think, when you go to a game like that, you kind of maybe pick a side or pick a team that you like. I like we said, it was a celebration of the game.
Yes.
And a celebration of those two teams. So for them to play Go Cubs Go, I got no problem with it. I mean, for the first time, I imagine most of those fans for the first time, that's the first time they ever heard that song.
Oh, definitely.
And ever heard that there was a celebration song for the Cubs. So I don't think that's a problem. I mean, hell, yesterday they played Sweet Caroline.
Yep.
And the stadium was going insane. Well, that's a Boston Red Sox thing. I mean, but it's a baseball thing and it's an American thing. And so everybody enjoyed it and everybody in the crowd was dancing along and singing the song. And I mean, did the Cardinals announce, oh, well, what are we doing? It's a Boston thing. I mean, come on, man, get over it.
Because they won too, Fish. That helped.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, oh, yeah, everything was fine yesterday because the Cardinals won. Exactly. But just a little whining that I think we could have done without this week from some announcers, including my Cardinals. And that's sad because I like my Cardinals guys, but I thought that was kind of weak.
Was it Chip Carey?
No, it was the radio broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. John Rooney. He was really angry about it. Upset. Couldn't deal with it. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves this week. How about sweeping 2 at Philadelphia, winning 2 of 3 at Cincinnati. All 3 against Cincinnati were 1-run games. That was a fun series to watch, the Braves and the Reds, because the Reds are playing really well, and the Reds have become one of the more exciting teams to watch in Major League Baseball because of the youth that they have all over the field. And Ellie De La Cruz, of course, the star that he is. But fun series, Lang. It was in a good series for the Braves to take 2 out of 3.
It was good. It was a stressful series for the Braves. You haven't had one of those in a while where you felt like the Reds are as good offensively as the Braves are. They can hit, for power. They can get on base. They can. They're just a young team, and they kind of feel like you don't have it all like under control at the moment. But I mean, the game, even the game the Braves lost, they were down, I think 11-7 heading into the 8th, and they hit 3 straight 1-run home runs and made it 11-10, and then lost. And then even last night, the Braves won the game, but it was a 2-run lead heading into the 9th, and they gave up a home run and made it a 1-run game, and then held on to win it. So they were all nerve-wracking games. A lot of Braves fans tweeted, after the game, like, "All right, great series. Let's get out of Cincinnati." Like that was a stressful series.
I think Snitker even said afterwards, he's like, "I'd hate to play all my games here the way the ball flies out of the park."
Lots of home runs in all those games.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I tweeted at one point it would be a fun NLCS, like the Braves and the Reds, if that's what it came down to, just a huge offensive series. But it was tough to watch for a Braves fan, because instead of being able to just kind of dominate teams like the Braves have done all year, they had to like squeak those out.
Yeah. But a good series for the Braves. And this week, Spencer Strider against Philadelphia, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. Second pitcher since 1901 to throw 300 strikeouts in his first 35 starts, joining Dwight Gooden. How about that?
What's his contract again, Lane? What is he?
Great. It's great, Murph. All of their contracts are great.
I need to really know that man's contract, because you guys are like,
yeah, he's one of the guys they locked up long term.
Jeez, man.
Olsen had a good series against Cincinnati, hitting 4 bombs. He's got 25 now on the season. Acuna hit his 16th. Snapped to the Reds' 12-game win streak on Saturday. The longest single-season win streak snapped by the Braves since the team moved to Atlanta. How about that? Braves have won 17 of 20, 10 of their last 11. How about this? The last 10 games for the Braves offense: 116 hits, 82 runs, 29 homers, 11 stolen bases. No team in history has put up those numbers over a 10-game span.
They're raking right now, man. Everybody's hitting the ball. It's fun to watch.
And it's helping your pitching too, because on the low, you've been getting away with some decent pitching, some great pitching, but sometimes the pitching
not good pitching.
Pitching
hasn't been good.
You're late in rotation, man. It's like a little shaky. So
everybody's hurt. Everybody, Max Fried's still hurt. Kyle Wright's still hurt. Ian Anderson had the surgery. Like, I mean, Soroka's back to the minors. Like, all our pitchers are hurt. So it's like Charlie Morton, Spencer Strider. Yesterday, I think Schuster was our starter. Like, I mean, it's just whoever they can get out there.
And the kid Smith Shawver sent back down.
Yeah, Smith Shawver he was okay, and then not. And so I don't know.
Why did they send him down? Like, what's going on?
He was all right. I mean, he wasn't. He's a kid, and
Hmm.
I think they thought they were worried about him getting figured out or whatever. I don't know. I think they'll be all right. They're luckily offensively we're so good that, like, the other day we had a game and we were losing 5-0, and I walked out of the room and I came back in and we were up 10-5. Like they could just explode offensively. And even when our bullpen comes in and starts screwing things up like they did against the Reds, like they had this lead almost every game in that series in the late innings and then let the Reds back in it. So even when that was happening, we were just able to keep scoring enough runs to win games. So
Gary Sheffield Jr. Sends out a tweet, says the sleeper team that would rock the house for Shohei Ohtani, the Atlanta Braves. Interesting.
I do not want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't think he would fit our culture.
Huh?
We're not like a me first culture. We're like about winning and team first. And Shohei, it's all about him.
It's all
pitching,
about him.
hitting.
Oh my
Got
gosh.
to do whatever. He's got to be out there every day.
Yeah, he's got to be working hard.
Yeah.
Man, you are the only person in this three group that doesn't want Shohei Ohtani.
Honestly,
I'll take him. I want him.
Well, you guys are desperate.
He's being
sarcastic. But I also think that like I don't know if the Braves have enough for Shohei, to be honest. Like I would, if I'm the Angels, I mean, if the guys the Braves have locked up in these long-term contracts, most of them are, Austin Riley, an Acuna, who I think would be untouchable, but like Albies, like they don't have a lot of pitching locked up long-term. They don't have a lot of good young pitchers either. We're seeing that right now. Most of the younger players they had were traded to get guys like a Matt Olson or a Sean Murphy or whoever. So like they don't have a lot of prospects at the moment. Like right now, it's all those guys are in the majors or traded to get the guys in the majors. So I don't. If I'm the Angels, like, wouldn't you want, like, I don't know, an Ellie De La Cruz type prospect from some team or several prospects like that from some team?
Well, if he walks at the end of the season, you don't have to give squat back.
Basically,
true.
You could just pay him for whatever. And the fact that you guys got like 20 people paid under like,
but
weird ass contracts. I mean, anything could happen.
The problem is, though, the Braves have like 20 people paid, but they're all like 10 million a year, 11 million a year, and it adds up after a while. Like the Braves are at the tax apron right now. Like they can't really go over that without being in the next level of tax. So they've said before, like they're kind of like trying to watch it right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the Angels and what they're going to do, because I guess the big question was, if they're in contention, do they just wait it out and go through the year? Well, they're one game out of the wild card right now, 6 out of the division. So
wait it out.
And this is the first time in a while that the Angels have been playing meaningful baseball games in June.
Right.
So I would imagine that they would be excited to be in the position that they're in. Yeah. And try to go for it this year. Maybe not necessarily going out and getting guys at the deadline, but I certainly don't think they're going to sell at the deadline. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on where Shohei's going to end up. He can certainly come to St. Louis. He could certainly come to Chicago, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That'd be fine with everybody. Speaking of Chicago, the Cubs, they sweep Pittsburgh again. Pittsburgh hates you guys, hates you. I mean, Pittsburgh suddenly gone from first place to now they're going to be sellers at the deadline because the Cubs took care of them.
They keep throwing at us, Fish. Every time we come up to the plate, they're throwing at somebody. It's just ridiculous. Like, we're just winning games. Why are you trying to hurt us, man?
Lang, you know what that feels like, right?
Yeah.
Poor Swanson. Swanson just gets up there to bat and he's just already hunting his elbow and his wrist. Like, come on, man. Like, leave that kid ain't do nothing to nobody, man. He just got traded. He just got traded here, man. He's not even I guess he's a full-time Cubby now, but come on, man. Yeah, he's just doing too much.
Well, the Cubs in their sweep of Pittsburgh outscored the Pirates 20-3, had 2 shutouts in the series. Smiley 5 shutout innings, now 7-4. Stroman picked up his 7th straight win with 7 shutout innings. Hendricks went 6 1/3, giving up just 1 earned run. The pitching continues to be the story for the Cubbies, Murph.
It's all the way around, man. Even the bullpen pitching's been pretty good. Like they've shut me up. I mean, the starting pitching all season has been pretty decent. A lot of times we just weren't giving them run support. We're starting to hit. We're starting to give them more of a cushion to really not freak out and have somebody come in at the 4th inning to be the reliever because we're down like 4-2 or something like that. So it's looking good, man. The only worry I got right now is Marcus Stroman with the blister on his hand and see how serious that is. He's got the hook that second game in London. So we'll see how bad that is.
Yeah, just 3 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, only 3 of them earned. His 7-game win streak was snapped. But Ian Happ, a couple of home runs in the opener against the Cardinals, has 21 against the Cardinals. That's more than anyone since Happ joined the league in 2017. Justin Steele, also another fine performance, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. He improves to 8-2. Cubs have won 9 of 11, 11 of 14. Do you think that the thoughts on Marcus Stroman change looking at the standings and the Cubs just being 3 games out?
I think so.
Or do you look at the standings and say, we are still a team that's 2 under 500, so who cares how close we are?
I think they're just looking at who's in front of us. And I think that they believe that we can catch up to the Reds because in their mind, they're thinking there's no way the Reds are going to be able to keep up at the blistering pace that they're keeping up. There's no, you got to understand what they've been doing, Fish. It was at one point where, what was it, like 14 straight, 13 straight or something like that? Some weird number. I don't think that they feel like that's going to be par for the course the rest of the way. I think they're going to be able to catch up. I think they're going to try to make some moves. There's been some rumblings, maybe getting a left-hand pitcher in there, maybe getting another bat. I think they're going to be buyers.
Really?
Yeah.
The Cubbies, go Cubs, go.
The Cubbies are going to be buyers, and that's like weird coming from my mouth right now. I feel funny saying it, all tingly inside, but it's the truth.
But the thing is, and their bullpen's pitching well now, finally. Because you knew their starting pitching was pretty good. I mean, Smiley, Stroman, Steele, that's a really good 1-2-3 punch that I think if you can make a couple of moves to try and get in the playoffs, why not?
The way I see it is if Hendricks is your 4th pitcher, you're doing something right. Like if he's the guy that you're depending on to be your 4th guy, that's good. I just think that we need something. We need another batting lineup, and we definitely need someone, maybe just another bullpen guy to give us a little more power on the other end. But I feel good about us right now. Like I said, I'm just worried about the blister on his hand because these things could really take up more time than you really expect.
Murph, my buddy Coach Carl is a big Cubs fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the verge of buying a new Cubs jersey. He's thinking Nico Horner. What would be your thoughts if you're getting a Cubs jersey from this team? Who would you go with?
I'm not mad at Nico. I was on the fence about him maybe about a month ago because I wanted to see whether or not he would be able to keep up with this. And now he's just been on a torrid pace. Fans have been coming around to him, man. They like him because he plays hard, keeps his head down, doesn't really do anything crazy, knows who he is, doesn't try to do too much. So tell him to get the jersey.
I think a Dansby jersey.
Well, none of them, they don't have last names on it, right? Cubs don't have names on the jerseys, the home jerseys.
Not the home jerseys.
Yeah.
So.
So it's just the number that you're looking at.
But Dansby might be a little too soon.
Too soon for Dansby?
Just a little bit. Just let him let him get into his first fight or something,
Okay.
I don't know, that number, Dansby's number 7, and that's a cool number jersey. You know?
That is cool.
I'm looking, Nico Horner's 2. It's all right. 7's a cooler one.
No, 7 is cool.
Or
I just look and think
fan, just get Ernie Banks or somebody, right?
Be done with it. What about Morel? Is it Morel? Wouldn't that be a good one?
Yeah, but Morel's got to keep it up though. He's been I think pitchers have been kind of trying to figure him out a little lately. He's been scuffling a little bit, but he's going to be all right. Yeah, get Nico. Nico Horner. First of all, Nico Horner is a great baseball name. So that within itself, even if you get, away jerseys, road jerseys, and got that name on it, it's still pretty cool. So
Yeah. All right. Cubs are 3 games out of first place. Cardinals, meanwhile, they are 8.5 out. They haven't lost any ground. That's because Cincinnati's been on fire, but Milwaukee was in first, and they were not on fire. So Cardinals didn't really lose any ground. They won 2 of 3 in Washington against the Nationals. Paul Goldschmidt had his 13th home run of the year. Dylan Carlson had a 2 home run game. He's got 5 now on the season. The guy that wouldn't trade for Juan Soto. Michaelis, 7 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, and a 2-0 loss. Jordan Montgomery went 7 innings. He improved to 4 and 7. Then they split 2 against the Cubs in London. Adam Wainwright, 3 innings pitched, 11 hits, 7 earned runs. Waino has disabled his Twitter account.
oh man.
Yeah.
Is it just time to just
he's too old for social media.
Yeah, like I don't know. Is it Fish? Is it just time to like just to sit that man down and just let him know that this might be the tunnel. The tunnel is coming.
It's hard watching him pitch, man. I mean, yesterday, Murph, I'm sure you watched the game.
Yeah.
He just can't get it by anybody.
We were teeing off on him like it was like tea leaves.
Yes. And
like ridiculous.
Everything that was hit hard. I don't know how he gets better. I mean, his curveball's still moving, but now it's not fooling anybody because it's about the same speed as his fastball.
Right.
So that's the problem right now. And he's just getting teed off on. It's I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch because if you're counting on him every 5 days right now, oh God, that doesn't bode well for your rotation.
Yeah, it's not good, man. I felt it was kind of strange too, because it just seemed like we just had him figured out by the second inning. It's just weird. Like it was like it wasn't even trying to do it. The broadcasters were doing their best. The television broadcasters were doing their best to kind of like paper over it and like, he's just got to figure this out, and maybe his velocity's got. There's nothing you can do. His velocity is not going to increase.
No.
So now it's about placement, and he's been placing it on the fat parts of the plate. So I don't know what you do.
Maybe it was the London air. I don't know.
I mean, they've been playing against that guy for 10 years now, right? 15, like 20 years now. Like, I mean, it's nothing's a surprise.
No. And not only is nothing a surprise, everything's just slowed down too. And that's the problem right now. So yeah, he's struggling, and apparently the people on Twitter are just bad people. Even the best fans in baseball are bad people. And so he's gotten off the Twitter to get away from you people.
I think
it's the opposing fans, not
I think him and
fans.
Contreras are going to just find a log cabin together and just stay there.
No kidding.
Because they're getting at him too. He's not happy. Contreras.
No, which is too bad. I mean, a 5-year contract. It has not gotten on to a good start for Contreras. Jordan Walker has a 15-game hit streak, second double-digit hit streak for the Cardinals rookie as he continues to smoke the baseball. This is a guy that, let's remember, they sent him down to the minor leagues because he couldn't hit the ball in the air enough.
I like that kid. I like that kid, Fish.
He's good, man.
I like him. I like his swing. I like his. He just looks huge walking up there, man. It's just
so sending him down to the minors works.
Apparently,
it
did. Cardinals have lost 13 of their last 19 games since they had those 2 days off when they needed some rest, and they had 2 days off again before this weekend. So they've had 4 days off now in the last 23 days. So yeah, that should be good, but it hasn't worked. John Mozeliak, Cardinals general manager, was asked about the trade deadline. He said, quote, "We're not looking to blow up this team." Okay.
So that means they will blow up the team.
No, I think what that means is we're going to go back to the same theory of let's just get hot. And if we get hot, we're good.
It worked last time though, Fish.
How would you blow up that team?
Well, Goldie or Arenado or both.
Okay, there's like 2 options.
I mean, that's
trade
it.
Away, like you're not going to trade Wainwright for a bunch of prospects.
No.
I don't really know what your choices are there.
Yeah, I guess that's just it's Goldie and Arenado. I mean that would be blowing up the team.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals not willing to do that. Oh, it's almost trade deadline time, And you'll start to hear the stories about who's interested in whom. Cardinals, apparently. Shane Bieber could be going to the Cardinals. So we got that going for us, as the Cardinals now mentioned for every player that's available, as we are at each and every trade deadline. So Shane Bieber, maybe he's coming to the Cardinals, and he's been great. He's now 5-5 on the season and can't get a win in Cleveland. So let's go Cardinals.
Wow. It's one of those things, Fish, where you just, I don't know, man. It's worse to be mired in a slump like that when you got guys that can play. I mean, you've been through the same thing last time. Remember, you had that slump, and then all of a sudden you just, got hot. I know we keep saying that, but you got hot, and you went to the playoffs. I mean, anything can happen. It's still too early, but man, Wainwright is not doing you any favors.
No. Hey, want to remind everyone, if you're a true born entertainer, Murph, and a diehard Grizz fan, we have a spot for you on a Grizzlies live entertainment team. Audition for the Grizz Girls, the Grizz Line, and Claw Crew take place this July. Don't miss your opportunity to be a part of a world-class NBA entertainment team. For more information, to register, visit grizzlies.com/audition. Also, download the brand new official Grind City Media mobile app. Explore new ways to access your favorite GCM content, from your favorite shows and series to news and entertainment. Stay connected with exclusive content at your fingertips with the new Grind City Media mobile app, available in both the Apple and Google Play stores. All right. Well, now I just lost my page. Okay, here we go. Let's go around the horn.
Here's a fun stat while you're finding your page. I just saw this. Ronald Acuna has played every game this year for the Braves, and he's played all but 11 innings this season.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive.
Look at that.
That is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It just frustrates me, Lang, when you say things like that, because then I think of my team and how everybody's too tired.
Yeah, well, they get tired. Those old guys.
Oh, tired. We played 19 days in a row. Oh, no.
What is Acuna? Is what? He's 27, right?
No, I think he's younger. I think he's 25.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, he's good.
Let's see.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, 25.
It's ridiculous.
Well, the Braves are in first place in the National League East. The team in second is still the Miami Marlins, which is amazing in itself. Marlins 11 games over 500. They are 6 back of the Braves. They lost 2 of 3 against Toronto, did win 3 of 4 against the Pirates. Luis Arraez went 5 for 5 for the third time this year. All of them have been in June. Only 4 players since 1900 have 4 different 5-hit games in a season. Ichiro in 2004, Tony Gwynn in 93, Stan Musial in 1948, and Ty Cobb in 1922. How about that? Arraez has done it 3 times already this season. He did it all this month. He's hitting, his average dipped. He's now down to 388 after a rough go of it yesterday. So to bat 400, man, you need 3 for 4s, 2 for 4s almost every day.
It's impossible, Fish. It's impossible with the way the pitching rotations go these days. They're sending out fresh guys at you every 4 innings.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it could be done.
They did win 3 of 4 against Pittsburgh. Yuri Perez, 6 scoreless innings. He's 5-1 on the season with a 1.54 ERA. He's pitched 21 consecutive scoreless innings, the longest streak by a pitcher aged 20 or younger since Kerry Wood in 1998. How about that? And the Marlins are doing this without Sandy Alcantara. Their best pitcher is 2-6. His latest outing, he went 7 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. He's 2-6 on the season, and this team's still 11 games over 500. They've won 16 of their last 22. They're 10 over 500 for the first time since 2011.
They just had to get Jeter out of there.
Yeah.
You got Jeter and Mattingly out of there. And things started to
Mattingly, the headhunter.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true. And they hired Skip Schumacher away from the Cardinals.
Yep.
I mean, that's big. They got rid of Schumacher and kept Ollie. And look where the Marlins are today. Pretty impressive. Phillies, meanwhile, they are the 3rd place team. They were swept 2 games against Atlanta, and then they did win 2 of 3 against the Mets. Taijuan Walker improved to 8-3 on the season. They won the finale against the Mets. Boy, what a disaster yesterday. Mets are winning the game in the 9th inning. 3 walks, a hit batsman, an error, and all of a sudden they were winning 6-4, and all of a sudden they lose 7-6, and it was just sad to see.
Gary Cohen, the great Gary Cohen, their announcer, said that it was I can't remember the exact quote, paraphrasing here, but something like in what has been a horrible season, this was the worst loss of the whole thing so far. It was rough.
Phillies are on fire. Other than when they play the Braves, they've won 8 of 11 and 15 of their last 20 to finally get back over 500. Then you have the Mets, who are 7 under 500. They lost 2 of 3 at Houston. They lost 2 of 3 at Philadelphia. Justin Verlander lost again. He's now 2-4. Max Scherzer did win his 5th straight start. He's now 7-2. Pete Alonso, his 24th home run of the season, but the Mets have lost 15 of their last 20 and are just.
Do you think it's too early for them to say blow it up yet? Or
nope.
How do they blow it up? Who wants Verlander on that contract? Who wants Scherzer? Like, what do you want from that team? You know, the one guy
Lindor,
like
Alonso.
I have this like tertiary friendship with the Mets Twitter, because like a lot of my friends from New York are Mets fans, or people down there's some people here in Memphis who are Mets fans, friends with on Twitter. So I see them talk about the Mets sometimes. So I kind of have an idea of what's happening in Mets world. But the one guy who like they've liked all season has been Senga, the pitcher.
Kodai Senga, yeah.
Yeah, and he's the one guy who like all year they're like, oh, it's Senga day. Now we can finally, we have a chance on this game. And now Scherzer's pitching better. Like they're going to be better than they have been, I think. But they're 15 games out of first right now.
15 games out of first, 8 out of a wild card.
Yeah,
7 under 500. Yeah,
maybe they should spend more money.
I don't know if there's any more money to spend.
I think they need to hire your accountant on your team, Lane.
It's too late.
That guy, whoever that guy or woman is, I don't know who it is, but geez.
They're over I think what's their payrolls? 350, 370.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous payroll. It's like Yankees number payroll.
Yeah, not good for the New York Mets. National League Central, the Cincinnati Reds have blown by everyone to get into first place. 4 games over 500. They swept 3 games against Colorado. Did lose 2 of 3 against Atlanta, but they've won 12 of their last 14 games. 14-4 since Ellie De La Cruz debuted for the Reds. Joey Votto hit a home run in his first game of the season Monday. He's homered in his season debut 4 times in his career. That ties Tony Perez for the most for a Reds player in the season debuts since 1900. Also added a 2-run single and a 5-4 win. Ellie and Will Benson both hit their second home run of the year. And then against Atlanta, De La Cruz hit for the cycle, the 9th in Reds history, although they did have their 12-game win streak snapped by the Braves. It was the team's longest win streak since 12 straight in 1957. You got to watch Ellie De La Cruz, and you got to see that cycle. He's electric and fun guy to watch. I mean,
a lot like Acuna, like energy. And
I was thinking about that, Lane. You know that Spider-Man meme where all pointing at each other? That's what it feels like with those two.
Yeah, I mentioned he also the game where he had the cycle. He also got thrown out trying to steal home, just for what it's worth.
He did. Yeah, he did. You guys were asking me a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't come up with the name, but I'll tell you what. You know who he swings the bat like is Vladimir Guerrero Sr. From both sides of the plate.
Yeah,
he just takes massive hacks at the ball, and when he hits it, just hits it so hard. And his speed is amazing. I mean, when he hits a ball that hits the gap, it's fun.
Did you see the one he had the other? He grounded out to first and beat the first baseman to first the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. Like, I think he got an infield hit on a grounder to first, which you never see, which was pretty cool. He like that whole team right now is playing with so much confidence. And I think he's a big part of that, Votto coming back, like they all like they just kind of feel like they're in it no matter what. And they're a really good team.
Yeah, no kidding. These young guys really coming together. McLean and Benson and De La Cruz and Abbott on the hill, and they're fun. And with Votto back, I mean, Votto just feels like a happy veteran amongst kids.
But the way they remember the Mets last year had like the Mets, like they didn't really have any power hitters. They had like all those guys who could hit for contact, but they couldn't really, like, when they needed to like generate some runs, that it wasn't there. But the Reds have that. Like they have both. They have the ability to get on base, and then they have the ability to knock them in too, and they can play defense. Like they're a good team. I mean, I guess the one thing you might questions their pitching. Like they give up a lot of runs to the Braves, and maybe that's just playing in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But you know, for that ballpark and everything else, the way it's all fitting together right now, it's a fun time to be a Reds fan.
Yeah, no doubt. Reds in first place. They lead the Milwaukee Brewers by a half game. Brewers lost 2 of 3 against Arizona. They won 2 of 3 at Cleveland. The problem with the Milwaukee Brewers, if Corbin Burns isn't going to be good, the Brewers have no chance. He went 5 innings, 7 earned runs against Arizona. He's now 5-5 on the season. And Freddie Peralta, their second best pitcher, is 5-7. I mean, without those two, Brewers, they're just an average team. And I mean, they're showing it right now. They're 3 games over 500 and a half game out of first place.
So. I just keep waiting for them just to sink, you know, like I didn't even believe it when they were in first place. I have no belief in it at all.
No. The Reds, meanwhile, they are the first team in baseball history to go from being 5 games under 500 and 5 games out of first place to being alone in first place in fewer than 10 days. And they did it. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, they were swept at 3 games against Chicago, lost 3 of 4 at Miami. Henry Davis made his major league debut and hit his first home run. They did snap a 10-game skid, but they have lost 12 of 13 games, a 5.5 out. They are quickly dipping in the National League Central, and I would imagine Pirates will be sellers again this season, which is too bad because they were kind of a fun story at the beginning of the year, competing and McCutchen being back. Now all of a sudden McCutchen may be dealt because they're going to be sellers here at the deadline again.
Man, I thought he was going to be a guy that stays with his team and retire with them, but yeah, that's the rumor. I've been hearing that a lot. I've been hearing him linked to San Fran and the Dodgers.
Yeah,
those are 2 teams that I've been hearing. But
you like their new city uniforms?
What I said, they kind of look like robots playing baseball. It's like the Twilight Zone episode. Like they had those robots in the uniforms that they wearing. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, they do.
I like the I mean, they're clearly a kind of a nod to the 70s Pirates uniforms, but like just like it's sort of like the Braves did with the nod to the 70s uniforms. Like just use the 70s uniforms.
Yeah, that's just what I don't understand.
There's nothing wrong with them.
Because they have the coolest. The Pirates has the coolest 70s uniform. Those hats when they used to wear the afros and you see the hat over the afro, like, oh, that's the best uniforms.
The black hat with the yellow stripes. Yeah,
with the yellow stripes on old school. Come on, man.
I mean, the Braves changed from the old uniform it's a capital A instead of a little A. I mean, isn't that
that's the only difference?
The biggest difference?
Basically, yeah. I mean, they even the Braves ones, like just wear the old ones.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to update that. So.
Yeah. All right. National League West. The Arizona Diamondbacks are in first place of the National. The National League West is ridiculous. The Diamondbacks are in first. The Diamondbacks are in first place after winning 2 of 3 at Milwaukee. They won a game at Washington, then lost 2 of 3 at San Francisco. Corbin Carroll, 102 games played, second fastest player since 1900 to reach 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases, only behind Fernando Tatis Jr., who did it in 97 games. Carroll hit his 16th home run of the year. Merrill Kelly, pitcher. He's now 9-4 on the season. Zach Gallen improved to 9-2. Their pitching is good. They have good young hitting. They just have a lot of guys you've never heard of before, which is why we don't know much about the Arizona Diamondbacks, but here they are, 2.5 game lead, and not over the Dodgers, 2.5 game lead over the San Francisco Giants, who continue to be better than what their expectations are. And I think Gabe Kapler deserves a little credit, despite everyone wanting to think that he's just a meathead bad manager. I think he's doing a hell of a job with the San Francisco team. They just won 3 of 4 against San Diego. They won 2 of 3 against Arizona. They've won 12 of 14 and 15 of 20.
And they've been doing under the radar too. That's the weird part about it. It's like they're winning all these games and nobody's even talking about it.
Look, all the people there are talking about the A's or the Warriors losing their GM. I mean, they're not even the big story in San Francisco probably right now.
Yeah. Well, in the Dodgers, a big story because they're third place in the National League West. They did sweep 2 against the Los Angeles Angels, winning both of those games 2-0. Clayton Kershaw improved to 9-4. They beat Shohei Ohtani with a bullpen game. And then Freddie Freeman hit his 14th home run, and Freddie also got his 2,000th hit against Houston, the 6th active player with 2,000 hits, 289th player all time. Mookie Betts hit 18 and 19 as the Dodgers playing well, but can't seem to catch the Diamondbacks as they are 3 games back in the National League West. And then the Padres. They lost 3. The Padres suck, man.
It's just
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, between the Mets and the Padres, what the hell?
They should be sellers, the Padres, at this point.
And they
To
got
me.
a lot to sell.
To me, they do have a lot to sell. They got a lot of guys that are so good, they're just underperforming.
They just lost 2 or 3 to Washington, for crying out loud, at home. 3 or 4 to San Francisco. How about this nugget? When they score 3 or fewer runs, they are 4-34 this season.
They can't even win close games.
Man, Joe Musgrove improved to 6-2. Blake Snell went 6 scoreless to improve to 4-6 this week. So that's real good. San Diego, they are 9.5 out. They are 6.5 out of a wild card. And with that roster, that is just ridiculous. Yeah, Padres are awful. And then you have the Colorado Rockies at the bottom. How about this? Mike Trout, Brandon Drury, and Matt Thaiss of the Angels hit back-to-back home runs on 3 straight pitches against Rocky starter Chase Anderson on Saturday. The last time a team hit 3 homers on 3 straight pitches was the Yankees against the Blue Jays back in 2020, also against Chase Anderson. This dude's been historic twice, giving up 3 bombs and 3 pitches. He's done it twice.
Bad history, too.
Yeah, that's sad.
Bad history.
In the American League, in the East, the team up top, still the Tampa Bay Rays. They split 2 at Baltimore, split 4 with Kansas City. Shane McClanahan had to leave a start after 3 2/3 innings with back stiffness. He'll be back, however, on Friday. So he's not going to be out long. Just a precaution. They're going to hold him out until Friday. He's got 11 wins, leads Major League Baseball there. Only 6 teams in the modern era have had a better record through their first 40 home games than the Rays, who are 32-8. Of those 6, only 1 failed to make the World Series that year. 3 of the 5 went on to win the World Series. But the Rays are playing just average baseball right now. But they got off to such a big lead that it really doesn't matter. They just split 4 with Kansas City. Not good for a betting person like myself. How are you losing? Not only did you lose to Kansas City, you lost to Jordan Lyles, the Kansas City pitcher who had lost. The Royals had lost his first 15 games as a starter. He was 0-11. He got the win. It was the first time that a Major League Baseball pitcher with an 0-10 record or worse won on the road against a first-place team.
He got hot.
He got hot. Royals are not. They've lost 17 of their last 22. Baltimore split 2 at Tampa Bay. They won 2 of 3 against Seattle. Aaron Hicks continues to be amazing for the Orioles. He's now got 5 home runs on the season and just continues to hit
Red hot.
every game. Had a homer and 4 RBIs in a win against Tampa. Yeah, the Yankees are missing him for sure because the Yankees lineup is absolutely pitiful. Yankees are 8. Here's what's crazy though. Yankees are 8 games above 500. Yankees are in a wild card spot. Yankees just won 2 of 3 against Seattle and 2 of 3 Texas. Yet everyone is called the Yankees just a brutal team to watch. Terrible team. They're out of it. Offensively, since Aaron Judge has been out, the Yankees are last in the league in runs, average, and OPS since he's been out. They're last in the league. Their lineup is dreadful, pathetic. Yet they're winning games. Like maybe they're just not winning enough.
Well, you know how the Yankees fans are.
Yeah.
They're spoiled and entitled fans. So
Between the Yankees and the Mets fans, like, whew.
Oh yeah,
they're worse than the Mets fan because the Mets fans,
yeah.
they just want to win. They just want anything. They don't care if it's wild card. If Yankees get in the wild card, Yankee fans complain like we're a wild card. That's the type of
Yeah. Aaron Judge said he has a torn ligament in that injured toe. Aaron Boone said he expects Judge to return this season, but did not provide any guarantees.
He's not coming back this season.
Really? With the toe?
Which toe? Which toe is it though?
The big toe, right? Isn't it the big toe?
I think it's the big toe. Yeah.
Can't you just DH? Like you don't have to run.
You got to
get
pressure.
A shot.
But you got pressure on
the
toe.
toe.
Pressure on the toe. It's a ligament though. It's not a bruise or.
Yeah.
It's not hurt. Like, doesn't it hurt to even stand on? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Toronto, they won 4 of 6 this week. They won at Miami 2 of 3, and they won 2 of 3 against Oakland. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit his 10th home run of the season, hit his first home run at home this year.
Wow.
How about that? That's interesting. Springer hit his 55th leadoff home run. That passes Alfonso Soriano for second all time for leadoff home runs. And Boston's Justin Turner hit his 11th home run of the season. In the worst division in baseball, the Central, Minnesota Twins are in first place. They are 1 game over 500, which is not exciting at all. Joe Ryan did have a complete game 3-hit shutout to go 8-4. First Minnesota complete game shutout in 5 years. Cleveland in second place. They beat Oakland this week, but bad news for them. Tristan McKenzie, their pitcher, UCL strain. He's going to be out several weeks.
Mhm.
Detroit Tigers, Javi Baez got his 1,000th hit. That's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah.
White Sox.
Yeah.
White Sox, Luis Robert had his 19th, 20th, and 21st home runs of the year, and Jake Big Burger had his 17th home run of the year against Boston. The White Sox they're only 6 games out.
Yeah.
34 and 45. I mean, if anybody in the Central can just go on a little bit of a streak, they can win the division.
It's that they're a weird team. Like you can see that they can actually pull off some games, and then they'll get on a streak of like 3 straight losses or something like that.
Yeah.
So
And
you
then
just
I
never
think the
know.
Twins are about to hit a speed bump because you know who they play this week
The Braves.
in Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, please do them in. Just take their hearts out.
Yeah, go sweep them, and then Cleveland, they'll lose 2 out of 3, and Detroit
Everybody
will
in
lose
the
2 out
Central
of
loses
3.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, so it won't really matter. In the West, Texas Rangers still on top. They won 2 of 3 at Chicago against the White Sox, and then they lost 2 of 3 at home against the Yankees. Adolis Garcia hit his 17th home run of the season. They are 5.5 up on the Houston Astros, who won 2 of 3 against the Mets. Framber Valdez outdueled Justin Verlander to improve to 7-5. Valdez, the 4th pitcher in franchise history to have 100 strikeouts and 25 earned runs or less through the first 15 games of the season, joining Justin Verlander, Mike Scott, and J.R. Richard on that list. Nice little list there. Astros then lost 2 of 3 at the Dodgers. Angels, meanwhile, they are 6 out, 1 out of the wild card, swept 2 games against LA Dodgers. They were swept twice, or in 2 games against the Dodgers. Then they lost 2 of 3 at Colorado as well. Mike Trout and Shohei hit back-to-back home runs for the 9th time, tying Trout and Albert Pujols for the most by a duo in Angels history. Trout's now got 17 bombs, Shohei with 25. After the game in Colorado, after one of the games in Colorado, after they won, Angels won a game 25-1, by the way. That was thrilling to watch.
Ridiculous.
They acquired Mike Moustakas from the other locker room and brought him over. So that was nice. 25-1 win, and Shohei went 1 for 7 in that game. And but the Angels, that was as good of a rout as I've seen. I mean, they had 21 runs after the 3rd inning, and yeah, I mean, I was watching the Colorado broadcast. You talk about feeling.
At least we're talking about them. Remember previous broadcasts, like when we get to this month, it was like they're like 8 games, 10 games behind now, and there's no reason for them to even keep playing.
Yeah,
it's good. I think the league needs a good team there. I think they need to have Shohei and Trout be on a good team just for baseball, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how this plays out. They're just you remember last year they got off to a good start,
right?
And then all of a sudden it just went to hell, and it was over. I mean, they're hanging around there now, and we're towards the end of June, and they're still in the mix. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in that next month before the deadline, where the Angels are at. Our favorites this week, Shohei went 6 of 23 at a double, a triple, a homer, 3 RBIs. His average is at 297, which is down 3 points. But he is leading the league in home runs with 25, 61 RBIs, and we're not even near the All-Star break, which is unbelievable. Pitching, he's 6-3 with a 3.14 ERA. Had a 7-inning performance this week against the Dodgers. Just 5 hits, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts, and lost. Shohei now has 15 games with at least 10 strikeouts since the start of last season. That's 4 more than anyone else in baseball. He's also hit 58 home runs in that span.
Listen, shout out to the Twitter handle guy complaining that they were interviewing Shohei after he lost. And I'm like, look at his stats. Like, what are you talking about? Of course, it was like, why is he the guy? It's a team sport. I'm like,
Yep.
I'd be getting interviewed if I just.
We know Shohei's me first. It's all about him.
Oh, for crying out loud. That is just ridiculous. Wander Franco this week went 3 of 14 with a homer, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base. His average down 3 points to 287. He's got 9 bombs, 36 RBIs. However, he only had 14 at bats because he was left out of the lineup Thursday and Friday because of what Kevin Cash said. He needs to handle his frustrations better. Interesting.
Maybe we should talk to him.
We'll get him on. We'll get him on. Yeah, so he needs to handle his frustrations better, apparently. J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, 5 of 25, 4 runs, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He's down 4 points to 240. Not good for J-Rod here in his second season. 13 homers, did hit his 13th this week. He's got 41 RBIs. Juan Soto, everybody. How about the week that Ted Williams Soto had this week? 12 of 25, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 6 walks. His average is up 21 points this week to 273.
Good for him.
14 homers, 41 RBIs, 7-game hit streak for Soto. Also hit his 45th career opposite field homer. That is 7 more than any other lefty in baseball since 2018.
I'm just happy that you didn't lead with a walk,
He had 6 walks this week.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
He had a great eye.
Yeah. You know what he doesn't do? Drive. That great week that he had this week, drive in some runs. I'm paying you to drive in runs. And then Ellie De La Cruz had the best week of all of them. 11 of 25, 8 runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. His average is up 60 points, up to 333.
Ridiculous.
3 homers, 10 RBIs, 8 stolen bases in 17 games. He's the 3rd player in history with a cycle in their first 15 career games, joining Cliff Heathcote, Gary Ward, and Ellie De La Cruz. Also, the first player in the World Series era to record 20 hits, 5 stolen bases, 3 home runs in his first 15 career games. Impressive stuff from the rookie. I am now 38 and 39 betting the Cardinals this year. That is, I was 3-2 this week. And compared to the Cardinals record, I have a 6-game lead over the Cardinals with my betting record on them compared to what they have done. So, yeah, still ahead of them. On deck this week, Atlanta, you got 3 with Minnesota and 3 against Miami.
All right.
Miami series, 2nd place in the National League East, Lang.
It's a big one, yeah.
And no Mattingly. So,
yeah, maybe they won't try to injure our players.
Yeah, no kidding. Cardinals got 3 with Houston and 3 with the Yankees this week.
What you thinking?
Well, what I'm thinking always is, well, Houston's playing really poorly, and the Yankees aren't very good right now. Their lineup is crap. But then I think to myself, I look down and see the standings, and I think, well, the Cardinals suck too. So, I don't know. Split the week, go 3-3, see what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know, because Houston's better. That's the problem. Every team in the league's better. When you're the worst team in the league,
right?
Everybody's better than you. So you just hope for the best. Yeah. You wouldn't know what that's like, Lang.
Yeah. Sorry.
Cubs got 3 against the Phillies and 3 against Cleveland.
Phillies. It's going to be tough. That's a tough team. Split maybe.
You're at home. Take 2 or 3 against both of them. Come on, Murph. Go 4-2 this week.
I'll be happy to take two from Philly. I'm not too worried about the other team. Philly's doing.
Yeah. Cincinnati's at Baltimore this week. That'll be a good series. Starting tomorrow, Tampa Bay will visit Arizona, a couple of first place teams. They'll play 3 games. And this weekend, Milwaukee at Pittsburgh. They can pretty much put the Pirates away. And Houston will be at Texas for 3 this weekend as they try and stay close in the American League West as well. All right. Well, there you go. I don't feel so very excited about my Cardinals or talking about the Cardinals, to be honest with you. But we'll do it again next week, talking about the Cardinals and what they can accomplish.
Maybe they'll get hot.
Maybe they'll get hot. That's what we're all hoping. All right, there you have it. That's what's going on in Major League Baseball. It's what's happened this past week and what's coming up this coming week. And should be another exciting week of Major League Baseball as we get closer to the All-Star break. But that'll do it for us. Unless you guys got something else. You got anything for me? No.
Just
Nope.
go Cubs.
Go
Go
Braves.
Cubs, go. Oh, don't sing that song, especially at a Cardinals home
I
game.
will.
In London.
Where's my Harry
Yeah.
Carey glasses at so I can see him take me out to the ball? And the one, the two,
Hey!
hey.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Infield Fly. Thanks for joining us and talking baseball and listening to some baseball with us here this afternoon. For Lang Whitaker, for Keith Murphy, I'm Rob Fisher. We'll do it again next week here on Infield Fly on Grind City Media.